Well, welcome everybody to Lunch with Lucy. For those who have joined for the first time, we're so happy you're here. My name is Kate Remillard. I'm on the marketing team at VHT Studios. We have a great show for you today. Before we get started, just need to mention we do have everybody muted. If you have a question for our guest, please just add it to the Q&A box on your screen and we'll get to those questions as we go and at the end. And then also at the end of the show, we'll announce the 5 winners of the Lunch on Us. It's the DoorDash gift cards. So you'll want to stick around till the end. And then that's all. Let me introduce Lucy Edwards.
Hello, everybody. Lucy Edwards, Director of Client Success at VHT Studios. I enjoy our time together at Lunch with Lucy, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. So please make sure to register that you automatically get all the invites. And today we're so happy to have our guest is Sunny Lake Hahn, and Sunny is the industry advisor and consultant. So she has been in real estate industry for quite some time. She is a veteran. I don't like the word seasoned. I use the word veteran. And Sunny will share a few words about herself, right?
I will. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And thank you, Lucy and Kate, for having me. I really appreciate it. My name is Sunny Lake Hahn, and I have been in the industry for, gosh, almost 20 years. So I guess you can call me a veteran or seasoned or salty. I don't know. I'll take all of them. I will own all of those titles. I started as an agent back in 2003 and then became a broker. So I have sat on both sides of the desk. I know what it feels like to be a broker and an agent. I know what it feels like to be working in a really competitive environment like we're all in now. And now I work as an industry consultant. So most of my clients are brokers or brands and franchises, as well as some startups in the tech space. And then also I'm working with a really cool agent coaching company right now. So that's all very exciting. But no, I'm happy to be here with you and have this conversation.
Thank you, Sunny. So lately, doesn't matter what you are reading, where you are looking at, Risk Media, Inman, just there's so many articles about reputation. And why? Because the competition is tremendous. So the competition between all of you agents, especially now with what happened to us in the last year and a half, 2 years, it just really made a difference how you can work anywhere and everywhere. And a lot of realtors are interested in getting their licenses in different states, and they expand their expertise. So the reputation is more important than ever, because now you can recommend yourself not just in Illinois but also, let's say, in Missouri or Indiana, and it's not just New Jersey, it's also Connecticut and New York, and on and on and on. And not to talk about Florida, that everyone now wants to have their license in Florida as well. Reputation, that is the base that really makes you stand out. Can we please talk about that?
Yeah, reputation. I mean, we all have it. And it's one of those things that takes a long time to build. And it only takes one really terrible interaction to lose. And so that's why I think it's so important. And it's so important now to differentiate yourself and really build that reputation and make sure that those relationships that you have with your clients and your sphere, just everyone that you know, make sure that that reputation is impeccable. And again, like when people are moving, it's one of those things where it's hard to build a reputation in an area that you're new at. And so finding those people, those business partners who are like-minded and treat their clients the same way, I think that's really important. But I mean, I think for, in the last 20 years that I've been in the industry, I've watched a lot of trends. And it used to be like 80, you'd hear the Pareto principle of like 80% of the deals are done by 20% of the agents. But now with the competition as fierce as it is, that power is getting even more concentrated. So it's more like 90% of the deals are getting done by 10% of the agents. And in some markets, it's even more concentrated than that. We saw data recently that 87% of transactions in Phoenix are done by 5% of the agents. So building that reputation and building that repeatable business is so important now And I think it'll continue in the future because we have 2 million licensees in the country. About 6 million homes are being sold every year. There's not a lot of business to go around. And that number, while it might get bigger, I mean, historically, we normally see 5 to 5.5 million transactions. So 10 to 11 million sides. And now we're seeing about 12 million sides done by 2 million people. Like that's not a lot per person if you think about it. And knowing that these super teams are coming in and really embracing technology and they're figuring out the economies of scale and learning how to do that business really well and efficiently, that does leave a lot of people without business. And so chasing those leads is harder than ever, but people sometimes forget about really taking care of the people that they already know and that already trust them. And so when you are moving into a different market, you might run into like, well, I don't know that many people, but how do you build that sphere? Like, how do you find people who are interested in the same things as you that you can provide value to? And so building your network of like, if you have dogs and you love to take your dogs on hikes or runs or something like that, like meet other people like that and build your sphere in those new areas and become that trusted source for those people who are already like feel some sort of affinity or connection to you. So you're not out there chasing business all the time. Like work those people that you know and do it in a really human and delightful, lovely way. You don't have to be like constantly trying to sell them real estate, but just connecting with them as a human being. I think that piece is something that really differentiates agents, the really wonderful agents, from everyone else.
I totally agree with you. I also believe in your reputation and your brand, which is actually one and the same, right? Your brand is not just your logo, it's not just the slogan, it's what you stand for, it's what you believe in, it's how emotionally you can connect to your clients, regardless if they're buyers, sellers, or both. So I think that is also so important. And to have that brand and the reputation online is also, it's extremely important. So I would recommend when you move somewhere and you are new, first thing you should do is maybe establish your Google account or just Google presence and have as many videos as you possibly can produce, preferably professional or decent quality. It has to be decent quality because that is your brand and your reputation. So if someone else is doing it for you and their hands are shaking and your light is awful, that doesn't say much about you as a professional realtor. So do think through, but I think that online presence is important. Your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Facebook. I personally am not into Facebook as much lately, but I think, like testimonials and your reviews on the Google page. I have all my videos there from Lunch with Lucy and my interviews. That is so important to establish yourself in a new market. What's your opinion on something like that?
I think it is important. And I think also letting people know why you moved there, why you chose to expand your business into that market, like why you love it. As a new person to Las Vegas, I've been here 2 years. I can tell you the things that I love about Las Vegas that maybe someone who's been here for 20, 30 years doesn't necessarily remember. Or it could be like, hey, you can attract business from other people who are moving into an area. I mean, we're getting an influx of people from California and other states into Las Vegas because the cost of living is great. And also people are enjoying a lot of the amenities that we have to offer here. But just sharing like why you decided to move your business there and what you love about it, what you love about the people, what you love about the culture, what you love about, like we live, 1.5 miles from downtown Main Street of Las Vegas. And I can tell you, I love all of the restaurants. I love that I can park at one end and walk down to 10 different bars or fun restaurants and see some cool like street art and different things too. But why you love where you live or why you were drawn to an area if you're moving to a new market, let people know. Like people love to feel seen and validated. And so if you can validate, like you are living in a really amazing place and this is what I see as a new person, but then also like writing reviews for other companies as well that you like and building that really like lovely reciprocal community around yourself. I think that's all important. But I mean, share videos, share highlights, share things. I mean, but don't just share the good stuff. Like, hey, by the way, this is maybe not perfect, but we're working, we're working on getting better, because you can't just like gloss over everything. But I think that there are lots of ways that people can build that reputation, but really become embedded in their new community if they're moving. But if they're staying somewhere that they've been for years, I've got a friend, Sharon, who's in New Jersey, and she loves on her community in this really beautiful way. And so anyone who wants to know about what it's like to live there, she's a wonderful resource. And it's just this like generosity of spirit that comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that kind of flows into another side of your brand and your reputation is consistency in your marketing strategy. And I talk about marketing strategy just about every Lunch with Lucy because I'm so passionate about it, because I strongly believe that in real estate industry, regardless what you do, and are you in buyer's market and seller's market, your face, your reputation is what you can show as a history. I have this $125,000 studio condo, and I did professional photography and a floor plan. I have this beautiful Tudor that is 1.2 million, and that's what I'm doing now. And that is also your reputation, because regardless whether you are in the same spot, in the same place, or you are moving from place to place, you can show the history. And by marketing strategy, it's not just the photos, it's not just the floor plan, it's how you work with your client. So can you get a little deeper into it, like the reputation and building the relationship with your customers?
Well, I will do a little plug for VHT here too, because you didn't ask me to, but I will do it because I've used your services before, and I think that they're so valuable. But having professional photos on every listing to me seems like it is one of the most basic fiduciary responsibilities for a seller or a buyer. How you are presenting those properties, regardless of the price point, not only reflects on you as a professional, but it also is part of your marketing going forward. Like if you just I've got an iPhone, it's got a pretty great camera on it, but do I want to put those pictures as a representation of not only the property, but myself? No, absolutely not. I could shoot a video on this thing, but is it going to be great? No, it's going to feel like Blair Witch Project. And I know I'm dating myself by saying that, but my God, nobody wants to watch that and go, and it doesn't give you a sense of what that home feels like. And with people searching from anywhere right now, because we are, people have been saying, and Rich Barton from Zillow has been saying this now for almost 2 years, calling it the Great Reshuffling, and other companies are calling it the same thing now, because there has been such a transition of people moving from different areas because they're not tethered to a location for their jobs anymore. I think giving people a sense of what it actually feels like to live in that home is super important, not only for that seller that you're representing them on the listing, but those buyers that are coming and looking for their next home. And you as an agent, I think that's so important to make sure that you have those professional photos and videos, and you're representing the properties well. You're giving buyers a really good insight into what that home is and what it isn't. Floor plans, my gosh, the change that we've seen in just the last 1.5 or 2 years of having floor plans on almost every listing makes a huge difference. You're looking at pictures and you're like, is the kitchen, like, what's the traffic flow of the house? Does it feel good? Like, is the kitchen open? If you like entertaining, not everyone likes entertaining and you don't have to, but if you like entertaining and you want to have people over, are you able to interact with them? If they're sitting in the kitchen or outside the kitchen, like, what does it feel like to live there? And so I feel like that is something that again, basic fiduciary responsibility to your sellers to have professional photos. I'm going to go on record and say that right now. If you're not doing it, which trust me, plenty of people are not, But if you're not doing that, I feel like you're not even performing the most basic level of service to those clients. But then also how you are presenting yourself to potential buyer clients, how you're presenting yourself to other agents who could send you referral business, how you are marketing yourself in the future. Like, this is what I do as a professional, and this is how I show up for all of my clients, regardless of the price point. Price point, honestly, should be the last consideration as far as what you do for marketing.
Exactly. I absolutely. You do consider it because of your budget, and also not every property deserves to have drone photography or drone video. You have to really use the judgment what's best for it. But I would also say that marketing includes you preparing the property properly. Like, for example, we had guest Birgit Anek. She has her own staging company, and she was saying how important it is to invest in staging it the right way, because the return on investment will come back to you in triple what you had invested. Plus, you sold it faster, better, easier, and it's such a pleasant experience. And what we are doing, the real estate, it's all on emotions. So if you prepare that emotional foundation that is so positive and beautiful, it just takes you to another level. And I have someone here just to say thank you, Ali, for complimenting our VHT photographer. Greatly appreciated. And then someone is saying, I love Google reviews. Please, so I just started collecting my reviews. I only have like 7 or 8, but the goal is to have at least 25. So reach for the reviews, and they, you know, as long as they're sincere, they can come from anybody, from your buyers, from your sellers, even from the restaurant next door. Yes, she comes and she has lunch every Saturday, and she's a great client and a pleasant person to talk to, because that is also your character.
Yeah, who you are. People want to know who you are before they reach out. And that's another reason why I think videos are so wonderful, because people, and especially when someone's authentic in their video, and it's not this like super slick, overly produced thing, but it is, their personality comes out. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I'll say it anyway. I like when people have videos that really show their personality, because if you don't like that personality as a buyer or seller, you're not going to reach out to that agent. And I like to say, sometimes the trash takes itself out. Like, people can self-select not to work with you, and that's fine. Because if you're working with people who are like-minded and who appreciate your service, those are people who, one, are going to be delightful for you to work with. They're probably going to know other people who are similar to them that they could refer you to. Like, they say, oh, Lucy is fantastic. She's lovely. We did this, this, and this. She treats her clients this way. And if you like that and you respect that, and that is something that connects with you as a human being, I think that being able to grow your business with people like that, that you're really going to enjoy working with, it's going to be easier for you to pick up the phone and reconnect with them after you haven't chatted with them for a while. It's going to be easier for you to ask for referrals. It's going to be easier for them to sing your praises to everyone, and to build, again, to like build that sphere for business for your life by connecting with those people. And so having videos, being yourself, like being human and making those connections with people, I think it just doesn't get any better than that. And it's the business that you really will enjoy having for the rest of your life, instead of going, oh gosh, this person's such a jerk. And every time you see them like text you or call you, you're like, you're dreading answering the phone or responding.
Well, we all have some of those, and I'm
know,
sure someone looks at my name like that.
But we've all had those stinkers of clients, but it's like, oh, and then if they refer you someone, you're like, oh God, I'm going to have another tough one. But then you have those other ones that you really connect with, and that you love getting a phone call from them. You love reaching out to them. You love staying connected, and it just makes it so much easier, and it makes your business so much more fun.
Yeah, I love how you structured the whole, the whole approach, and having fun is the most important thing. If you are not enjoying your job, I cannot even imagine how you can wake up in the morning. But everyone in real estate, it's not like it's a 9-to-5 job. You create your own environment, you create your own goals. And before we go to the next question, I would like to see, Kate, what are the responses on our poll?
Oh, let me check.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
uh-huh.
we asked what people's largest source of leads are, and by far it was referrals. 65% of you replied referrals, and then after that it was friends and family. So just goes to show referrals are so important to agents' business.
Yeah, connecting to your sphere, like, and working with those people and just staying in front of them. And again, it doesn't have to be some gross salesy, like, do you know anyone who wants to buy and sell real estate? It's just connecting with them and staying in, like, staying visible in their mind, because gosh, everybody has so many things going on and everyone's so busy, but just having those little moments of human connection. They all know that you're a real estate agent. But if you're just connecting with them, like, hey, by the way, I know I haven't talked to you in a while, but every time I drive by your house, I think about you. Like, if you haven't
Yeah.
talked to someone in a long time, that's a lovely way to just like reach out to them and say hi.
So
love that.
someone just asking what poll, Bobby, we did have a poll on how you get your leads. Do you mind putting up the second poll, Kate? And since everyone is about referrals, I would love to mention, for example, how you leverage your brand with your company brand. And if your company is connected to organization like leading real estate, leading real estate companies of the world, or a luxury portfolio international, you know, I heard that some brokerages receive up to 75% just through leading real estate companies of the world. That is amazing. Also through your CRM. Why don't we touch base on that, Sunny? Because that is important, being focused, using your CRM properly, so your referral base and come like return on investment is there.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, there were kind of two questions there. So I will answer the first one, which was making sure that you're aligned with the right brand. And I do think that's really important. And I think a lot of times agents can get caught up in the fees, like in the fee structure, and they look at it and they're like, oh, well, this one is more expensive than this one. But I'm like, which one actually connects with you as a business person and just as a human being? Like, which brand do you feel like is most in alignment with your values? Just like you want to work with clients who are most in alignment with your values, you want to work with a brand who is most in alignment with your values. And Michael Marin put a question in the chat, like, how do you compete against big traditional companies that have their own trade referral companies and get a majority of those leads? I worked for one of those large brands that did have an internal referral base, but I will tell you, as an agent and a broker, a lot of, I guess I'll focus on the broker side. A lot of my agents didn't want to work some of those referrals, those internal ones, for a couple different reasons. One, the fees were super high. Like some of them, you were paying almost 50% of your commission back for the referral. And so there were a couple people who worked those referral type leads, but I would say really the best way to kind of compete against that is to build that sphere of your own and really work those relationships that you already have, because that way you're connected to those people. And even if maybe they're getting a relocation from their company, they can still request you as an agent. That is actually a right that they have, is when they're working with a relocation for a firm, they can say, hey, I love Michael. I want to work with Michael to list my house before I move. And maybe they aren't connected to an agent in the market that they're moving to. But I think if you really build that sphere of yours and you really work your CRM, I mean, I guess I could ask for an informal poll of how many people actually have their CRM organized and work it. Like, I mean, I could ask for a show of hands, or we could ask for people to say say me in the chat if you actually do have your CRM organized and you work your CRM. I mean, and I guess I'm not going to throw any shade on anyone who doesn't, because it can be super overwhelming. And you might look at it and go, I don't even know where to start and how to organize it. But if you put like 15 minutes a day into organizing your CRM, you will find really quickly that you're going to find a ton of success in there. Like your success, a good friend of mine, Zvi Band, who started the CRM Contactually and then he sold it. He wrote a book called Success is in Your Sphere. Like there is a book about that. It's a great book. He's a brilliant guy. And he does talk a lot about just working your sphere, because that is where you can find a ton of success and you're not out there chasing leads and you're not feeling like you're trying to work these relationships that aren't really relationships. So I think that's really important. And I think that is something that everyone can do. It just takes a little upfront effort of like organizing that and putting that together and then building some consistency into your daily schedule.
Hey, do you mind?
Andrea said something really great here. She said that she actually pared down her sphere and it generated more business focusing on the quality versus quantity. So I think that
That is,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
that is wonderful. So
And I
Kate,
know
if you,
Andrea, she's brilliant. Hi, Andrea.
Kate, just if you don't mind putting in another poll, and I will ask, I will just mention that a few months ago at Lunch with Lucy, we had, the theme was teams and also referrals. And on referrals, we had someone from California. His name is Michael Estrada. He's a great agent, but his referral base, and he works for a large firm, but he does not always use his colleagues throughout the country. He has his own spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, and his 95% of his business is coming from his referrals. So I think that is so very important, regardless who you work with. You use your own networking systems and you do what you have to do to make yourself successful. But you have to be consistent, and CRM, regardless if it's just an Excel or if it's Salesforce or if it's contextually or anything else, just use it and you will see how much easier it's going to be for you to flourish.
Yeah. And I mean, and people ask me all the time, they're like, what CRM is the best? I'm like, whichever one you're going to use, honestly. Like, I have no dog in the fight as far as which CRM is the best. I think there are some that are super robust and maybe I'll probably do a little bit more than most people actually need. And then there are some that are just super simple. I know people who actually just do it through an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet, or even through their Outlook, which I think is bizarre, but it works for them. And so I'm not gonna talk bad about anybody who's like, whatever system you're gonna work, great. That's the one you should use. Whichever CRM you like and that you can figure out and feels intuitive to you, use that one.
And part of you being disciplined and focused, using CRM obviously is one of the most important pieces of a puzzle. But do participate in our poll now. Do you have morning routine? Because that is also something that helps you being focused on your goals. Create your goals. Follow the decision of what the routine you have created. I think that will also bring you success. And I'm dying to see what we have in that poll. Do you have a morning routine? So do we have the response, Kate?
Yes. So about 54% of you say yes. Morning routine like clockwork. 35% say depends on the day. And then there's about 4 of you that are saying that you do not have a routine.
I think routine is good. What do you think, Sunny?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I as a consultant and just like a real estate agent, you wake up every day unemployed until you go and hustle up some business. So if I don't have a routine, if I don't have structure in my day is gone. And I am reacting to everything instead of actually doing the things that help me build my business. So I wake up every morning. I have a couple of big glasses of water before I have a lot of water before I have coffee. Over the summer, I just got back into meditation. So I'm doing meditation in the morning for 20 minutes, which some days it's easier than others. I'm not going to lie. But I do that. And then I get up and I make coffee and I take the dogs out for a walk. And then I come back and I wake Rob up, but then I don't look at my phone until after I've gone through some of the things that I need to go through for the day. So I'm setting my own priorities instead of reacting to everyone else's priorities. So for
Yeah,
me,
I'm not using the phone anymore until I feel comfortable, just jump into it and start swimming. And actually, Valerie just asked, if your business mostly referrals, what are some of the things that you can do for those people to keep your name at the top of the mind? And I would love for you, Sunny, to reply. And can you give the name of the person? I did put it in the chat. His name is Ivan Estrada. He is from Los Angeles, extremely successful, young, just beautiful person, great character, and very organized. And again, with very simple tools, he made himself successful. But I know that we're running kind of like overtime, but I see that everyone is staying here. So let's just continue. So what would you reply to Valerie?
I would say to Valerie, first, make sure that your sphere is kind of segmented. It's okay to treat people differently. I'm maybe, again, unpopular opinion, but it's okay to treat people differently in your sphere. If you have maybe done a transaction with them, or maybe you haven't, it's okay. Like, I think A bucket, B bucket, and C bucket. And like A bucket are your rock star clients, the people who refer you business all the time, people who want to see you as success. Like they are even more invested or just as invested in your success as you are. I would say those are your A's. And you treat those people a lot higher touch than you will maybe your B's or your C's. Your B's are people, they could be your past clients, not necessarily refer you business, but you do want to stay in touch with, and you think that there are opportunities there. And the C's are basically everyone else. Like maybe you worked with them a few years ago, you haven't stayed in touch. Maybe they weren't the easiest client, or they moved out of the area, but you could still, if they're moving, they might come to you and ask you for your recommendations of people, but you treat those people differently. So I'll just pull an example of, say you love dancing, like you love ballroom dancing. That's something that you're really into. And this is just a random example, but if you want to connect with your sphere, I would invite, like, if you're taking a dance class because you love it, invite some of your A-list clients to that dance class with you. Like, hey, by the way, doing this dance class, have a private class set up, would love to invite you. They're coming and it's an activity. It's not anything that's related to real estate, but it's something that you are enjoying already, and bring them along with you. That could be something you do for your A's. Your B's, maybe you send them a coupon code for this dance studio because they're doing some new lessons. And your C's, you could say, hey, by the way, love this thing. Just send them the information on the dance studio. You don't have to invite them along or send them a coupon code, but just like stay in touch with them. Because again, it's just showing them your humanity and not trying to just hammer them with real estate stuff, but just bringing those people along with you for those things that you're already enjoying doing.
And I would like to add to it, Sunny, like again, taking the example of Ivan Estrada, who, by the way, just published his first book on referrals. He was talking about, and he's from Douglas Elliman, right? So they're not in every state, but they are in quite a few of throughout the country. Ivan has the list of agents he's working with throughout the whole United States, and from different companies, and he's building those relationships. He participates in different webinars where he's meeting those people and he has the conversations. And maybe he never ever met someone, he is in Los Angeles, met someone from Colorado, but he had the conversations, and he's building that relationship with another agent who will refer the business to him, and he will refer his business to someone in Boulder, Colorado. So that is also important. It's not just the clients, the buyers and the sellers. It's also the agents who are going to help you sell and buy and take care of your clients. So if someone is moving from Illinois to Arizona, you have, and they sold their house here, you have someone in Arizona to help that person and to give that same experience and support. And again, emotional, pleasant experience, right?
Yeah, and that's, again, it's like finding those like-minded people, whether it be clients or other agents, building that network of people that you enjoy, you trust their work ethic, they're going to treat your clients with a really high level of care. Yeah, you could send them to an anonymous referral and take the 25 or 30% or whatever the going rate is in that area. But also just knowing that, like, because again, your reputation is tied to that person. When you send a client a referral and that referral agent does a terrible job or doesn't treat them well, or is just so different in the way that they treat the client than you would, that actually impacts your reputation as well. And so when you are finding and identifying like-minded people that are working those spheres and building those relationships, like, I mean, this coaching company that I'm doing some work with is called Good Sphere, because that's actually, like, that's their philosophy, is we want everyone working in their good sphere. That's like finding those kind of people that are also working in their good sphere is super important, because again, that builds your reputation. And if you are working with all of those people, you can build a lovely referral network.
Thank you, Sunny.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to wrap up. Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
I was having fun.
Sorry. I know, I feel like we could keep talking for another half hour at least, but we do have to wrap up. So I just want to thank you so much, Sunny. This was awesome, and you're just a delight. So thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And if anyone has questions, I will be honest, I'm not huge on Facebook, but you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I do Facebook Messenger. I'm on there, Sunny Lake Hahn. You can find me easily on Facebook Messenger, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you've got one-on-one.
Awesome.
And please go to vht.com/learn. And on my YouTube channel, you will see the past Lunch with Lucy episodes, as well as amazing interviews with leaders of real estate industry. And some of them are just, all of them are just so great. The people are talented, interested, smart, and the ideas they're sharing with us, I'm sure you can get something out of it, regardless where you are and who are your buyers and who are your sellers, or just for yourself personally. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everybody.
See you next time.